So for today's episode, I'm going to do 5 cities that aren't as big as you might think they are. These are cities that rank fairly high in terms of actual population of the cities themselves, but overall they really aren't that big when you consider the area around it. And these aren't in any specific ranking or anything, but I'm just going to go through one by one of 5 of them. So we're going to start off here with Louisville, Kentucky. This city is the largest in the state and it has just over 600,000 people. And the reason it's kind of misleading is that in 2003 it merged with the county, expanding the land area by quite a bit, and it jumped the population by more than double. So if this merger did not happen, the actual largest city would probably be Lexington, Kentucky. And even though it's the 29th largest city in the US, the other rankings as far as metro, CSA, and urban population, it ranks from 38 to 43 nationally. Next I have Jacksonville, Florida, which is the 12th largest city in the country technically, but this is heavily inflated by the large land area of the city. The other rankings that would determine population, it ranks pretty low in the late 30s, early 40s in metro, CSA, urban population. And really, if you're just going by the most populated regions of Florida, it ranks 4th, even though it's technically the most populated city, as the area around it is a lot more like marshlands and parks, and it's kind of a more isolated city, really. Next I have for you Oklahoma City, which is the most populated city in the state of Oklahoma, and the 26th largest city overall in the US. And this is another one where the land area is pretty large. It's the 8th largest city by land area in the country. However, its urban population ranks all the way down at 51, and its metro size rank is at 41. Being in a centralized spot and being the only really big city in Oklahoma, it seems like a bigger city, but it's kind of in that third tier of large cities, which is partly why there's only one major pro sports team in the city presently. Next I have Memphis, Tennessee, which was the largest city in the state of Tennessee until recently. And this city is 25th in the US in population, and it has a large land area like the other ones, but its urban and metro are 41 and 42 overall. And if you look at it on a map, the populated areas really don't extend as far out as some other cities. When you go across the Mississippi River, Arkansas, there's West Memphis, and that's really it. It pretty much peters out into more rural landscapes as soon as you cross the river, other than the city of West Memphis. And just like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Memphis Grizzlies are the only major pro sports team in town. And lastly, I have for you Columbus, Ohio, which is the 14th largest city in the United States and the largest in the state of Ohio. But the reason it's kind of misleading is there were a lot of suburbs that were annexed by the city of Columbus, which inflated its population quite a bit. Its urban and metro populations rank in the 30s, and its combined statistical area is actually the 2nd most populated in the state after Cleveland. I've been here many times, and what you see is that everything as far as suburbs kind of stops after about 10, 12 miles outside of the city center. It kind of just turns right into farmland, so it doesn't have as many of those extensive exurban areas as some other cities do. So those are 5 cities that aren't quite as big as they seem, and this is kind of a good reflection of the sports team aspect, where you might wonder why these cities don't have that many sports teams. Well, part of it is because they're really not as big as they seem, and they don't have these like super extensive populations surrounding them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you for watching.